One lamp lights up the night, one sentence warms the heart. This is HL Whispers. Welcome to listen to the voice within. Do you have people around you like this? They talk endlessly, constantly interrupting others. They can talk for more than 10 minutes straight. But when you start to speak, they show no interest at all. At first, you might think they are cheerful and outgoing, but as time goes by, you realize such people make you feel tired, even make you want to avoid them. On the surface, they seem enthusiastic and appear to have good relationships with others, but in reality, they become harder and harder to trust. Has a familiar face already appeared in your mind? Don't keep thinking that talking too much is just being chatty or a habit. What really makes people drift away, lose opportunities, and even lose good fortune are the hidden psychological weaknesses behind excessive talking. Talking too much is actually a mirror of the depths of human nature today. Let's uncover the truth. Why do people who love to talk quietly lose their blessings? Why does learning to speak less actually improve relationships? These psychological principles are worth listening to carefully. Please remember, don't easily ignore this problem. Maybe after watching this, you will start to re-examine and change your own way of speaking. If you find this content helpful, please give it a like and subscribe. I will continue to bring more sincere and sharp sharing, accompanying you to see human nature clearly and warm your life. Why are people who talk too much the easiest to lose trust? First, the more they talk, the less trust they get. Have you ever met someone like this? They talk endlessly, constantly adding explanations. I really didn't mean it. Things were complicated. That day was a bit special. The longer you listen, the more doubtful you feel. Psychology tells us this is a kind of over-rationalization effect. When someone desperately explains, we subconsciously think, why say so much? Do they not feel sure themselves? So, the more they explain, the less they are trusted. At Princeton University, an experiment was done. 2 people said the same thing. One was brief and clear, the other long-winded. The result, the concise speaker scored much higher in credibility, intelligence, and attractiveness. The same words said briefly carry more weight. Too many words instead create suspicion. Even in FBI interrogations, the same rule appears. Those who tell the truth are often brief. Those who lie always need more words to cover up. As Nietzsche said, the more words are spoken, the more truth is being avoided. Truly confident people only need one sentence. Second, the more they talk, the more flaws appear. Have you noticed this? Quiet people are hard to define. Are they cautious, reserved, or mysterious? But those who talk too much often without realizing it expose their emotions, values, and level of knowledge. This is called the transparency effect in psychology. The more a person talks, the easier it is for others to piece together a complete portrait. Once the puzzle is too easy to solve, mystery and trust both disappear. Psychologists at Harvard University found, in debates, people who talk more are more likely to make mistakes. And what listeners remember is not just that mistake, but they deny all of what was said before. So the mistake of a quiet person is just a moment. The mistake of a talkative person can ruin everything in real life. You must have seen this scene. At a gathering, someone speaks endlessly, acting as if they know everything. But the longer others listen, the clearer they feel. Just a lot of empty words. The American writer Mark Twain put it sharply. When you keep silent, you may just be suspected of being a fool. Once you speak, you prove it true. Talkative people are often eager to show themselves, but in doing so constantly expose their weaknesses, eventually losing trust. Third, talking too much makes relationships unbalanced. Relationships between people are essentially about communication and response. You say one thing, I say one thing, that's how real interaction and connection are formed. But if one person always talks endlessly while the other only listens passively, the listener will soon feel, so my words don't matter. As this feeling keeps building, the relationship quietly tilts. In psychology, this is called reciprocity imbalance. At the University of California, Santa Barbara, research showed, when conversation is two-way, people feel warmer and closer. But when one side monopolizes the conversation, the other feels like just the background. Many talkative people think they're controlling the room, but they don't realize they're slowly isolating themselves. The philosopher Søren Kierkegaard once said, "True communication isn't about how many words are spoken, but about balance between hearts." If you never hear the other person's voice, then all you're talking is just talking to yourself. Fourth, talking too much means losing the chance to listen. Many believe that the person who talks the most is the center of the conversation. But the truth is the opposite. The one who truly wins people over is the one who knows how to listen. At Harvard University, researchers designed an experiment. The first type of person only cared about talking themselves. The second type interacted, but still spoke more about themselves. The third type didn't talk much, but listened carefully and gave thoughtful responses. The result, almost everyone chose the third type as the person they most wanted to talk with again. The reason is simple, because they made me feel understood and valued. Listening is a form of respect. It affirms the worth of the other person. But people who talk too much often strip away this chance. Over time, they get labeled as someone who doesn't know how to listen, and relationships quietly grow more distant. The ancient Greeks had a proverb, "A wise man listens twice before speaking once." If a person loses the ability to listen, no matter how much they say, it only makes them lonelier. Fifth, talking too much pushes good fortune away in life. There are always people like this. At a gathering, they must be the center of attention. Whether they understand or not, they have to chime in, believing that talking more proves their importance. But have you noticed, such people rarely enjoy real good fortune, because without realizing it, their own words push good luck away. During the spring and autumn period, the Prime Minister Zichen of Jin was known for speaking very little. He didn't talk much, but every word carried weight. Just a few sentences were enough to stabilize the court. When some questioned him for being too silent, the ruler replied, "Talkative people may seem clever, but one sentence from Zichen is enough to bring peace to the state." Laozi also said, "Too many words lead to failure, keeping still brings blessings." Good fortune doesn't stay with those who chatter endlessly. It favors those who know restraint and value their words. Talkative people may seem lively, but in reality, they are slowly losing three of the most important things: the balance in relationships, the chance to listen, and their own good fortunes. Speaking less isn't coldness, it's wisdom. Listening well is the real power. Truly fortunate people are never those who talk the loudest, but those who use silence and listening to win respect and keep blessings close. So why do people who speak well in the right way win trust, opportunities, and good fortune? We all know that talking too much makes people lose trust and luck. But if you use words wisely, the result is completely different. When someone understands balance, their words can bridge gaps, warm hearts, earn trust, attract opportunities, and even keep blessings by their side. So, how should we speak so that words truly carry power? Here are 2 ways to say less while making your words matter more. First, speak less, but always say one thing that resonates. What really touches people is not a long explanation, but one sentence of genuine empathy. The human heart has a weakness. Everyone longs to hear something simple. "I understand you. You've really been through a lot. If I were you, I'd feel the same way." One sentence like this may sound light, but it's far stronger than dozens of empty words of comfort. Because when people feel understood, their hearts open immediately. And in that moment, you've already won their trust and goodwill. At work, a colleague complains, "I've been so busy lately, I can't finish everything." Most people respond habitually, "Oh, come on, that's nothing. I'm even busier than you. I have kids, hospital visits over time. I'm completely burned out." It sounds like sharing, but it's really just comparing, turning the conversation into a contest over who's suffering more. The more you say like this, the colder the other person feels, because they realize you never really understood them. But if you change your response and just say one short sentence, "Yeah, it's been really tough lately, you must be exhausted," the result is completely different. The other person immediately feels, "Finally, someone gets me." The great psychologist Carl Rogers once said, "Empathy is the beginning of all healing in relationships." So don't cling to flashy speaking tricks. One sincere sentence of empathy is worth more than 10 lectures. Those who know how to empathize not only keep people close, but also quietly attract good fortune into their lives. Second, speak less, but learn to ask questions. There are plenty of people in this world who know how to talk, but those who know how to ask questions are very few, and, because it's rare, it's precious and powerful. A common mistake many people make is to keep on making statements, trying desperately to prove with words that they know a lot. The result is, the more they talk, the more the other person loses the chance to express themselves and gradually shuts down. This is why some people talk more and more, yet end up lonelier and lonelier. On the other hand, if you can ask a sincere question, the other person feels, "So you want to hear me, my feelings matter." And in that moment, they truly open their heart to you. For example, when a child says in frustration, "I don't want to do anything, I'm so annoyed," many parents immediately blurt out criticism, "You're so lazy. Why aren't you doing your homework? Why are you being so dramatic?" These words sound tough, but they only suppress the child's emotions. There are lots of words, but the relationship only becomes more strained. But if parents switch their approach, cut out the lecturing, and simply ask a few questions. "What's been the hardest thing for you lately? I can tell you're really upset. Is that right? Is there anything I can do to help?" This way of asking questions gives the child a chance to share and lets them feel, "You're willing to hear me. You really care." That is the power of asking questions. As Socrates once said, all human wisdom begins with questioning. The truly wise don't use words to overpower others. They use one question to light up the other person's heart. See, the power of language isn't in how much you say, but in how precise you are. One sincere line of empathy can warm a relationship. One thoughtful question can open a person's heart. Third, the shorter the words, the longer they last in memory. What people really remember is not long, complicated, flowery speech, but one short sentence that carries weight in conversation. If someone goes on and on, piling on more words, the listener quickly grows impatient. And at that very moment, the speaker's words lose power. The main point gets diluted. The listener's interest fades and their attention drifts away. You've surely experienced this. Someone says just one short sentence, yet it echoes in your heart for years, even a lifetime. For example, someone says, I'm just so tired lately. Nothing is going right." If the person is talkative, they'll jump in, "Oh, that's nothing. I'm the same. One time I was so exhausted I went straight to the beach." And then 10 minutes of nonstop self-talk follows. The result, the other person doesn't feel comforted. Instead, they lose the desire to share more, and the conversation stops cold. But if you simply respond briefly, "Yeah, it's really tough sometimes, but don't worry, you've already done a great job. I'll always be on your side." That one sentence can feel like a beam of warm light landing straight on their heart. As Winston Churchill once said, "The shorter the speech, the more it's remembered." Brevity doesn't mean emptiness. It means you've captured the core, and truly powerful words are usually found in this kind of concise expression. In today's age of information overload, those who can strike the heart with one sentence not only win trust, but also attract good fortune into their lives. Fourth, moments of silence often save relationships. Language is a convenient tool, but sometimes words come too easily, and that can cause harm. When someone says, "I'm really sad," we often can't resist giving advice. Try to think differently. It's no big deal, you're too sensitive. Who hasn't been through this? Don't be dramatic. But in that moment, what the person feels is not comfort, it's rejection. Their heart shuts immediately, and they no longer want to confide in you. True wisdom is knowing when to stay silent. When someone is crying, it's not rushing to say, "Don't cry," but quietly sitting by their side, holding their hand. When someone is anxious, it's not saying, "You'll be fine," over and over, but walking with them in silence for a while. This kind of wordless companionship often soothes the heart more than 1,000 sentences. As Arthur Schopenhauer once said, "Silence is the most powerful language." When you don't speak but still choose to stay by someone's side, the sense of safety and strength you give is more moving than any words. People never forget that in their most helpless moment, someone stayed with them, even without saying a single word. And this silent companionship is exactly where good fortune loves to linger. So remember this: when you don't know what to say, don't force yourself to speak. Simply staying quietly by someone's side. Your presence itself is the greatest comfort, and good fortune will quietly flow toward those who know how to wait. Fifth, the art of speaking lies in the ending. Whether someone truly knows how to speak often depends on how they end. No matter how well you spoke before, if your last sentence is cold, dismissive, or even cutting, all of your previous effort can collapse in an instant. For example, the conversation may have been pleasant, but it ends with, "Forget," it's saying it doesn't matter anyway. Whatever, I don't care anymore. Such an ending can erase all warmth and understanding in a second, but if the ending is gentle, then even if the exchange wasn't perfect, the other person will still leave with a good impression. For instance, you might say, "I should have listened more carefully just now, but thank you for being willing to share with me. I really enjoyed talking with you today. I treasure this exchange. There are still things I didn't get to say, but I'll remember this conversation. It really touched me." In psychology, this is called the ending effect. Our memory of an experience is often shaped by its final moment. So the last sentence often becomes the true dividing line. It not only shapes your character, but also determines whether good fortune and trust will remain. The American educator Leo Buscaglia, known as the philosopher of love, once said, "People don't remember the beginning, they remember the ending. The last words are where the heart stays." When your words carry warmth, good fortune follows that warmth and comes to you. Today we talked about this. Talking too much makes people lose trust. Failing to listen makes relationships quietly fade, and not knowing how to end well makes good fortune slip away. But don't blame yourself, because everyone has had moments of trying to comfort with words or hold on to relationships with speech, only to accidentally push the other person further away. This message is not asking you to stay silent forever. It's a reminder to speak differently, with one sincere line of empathy, one thoughtful question, one moment of silent companionship, one gentle ending. Such small changes are enough to warm relationships again and quietly bring good fortune back. In the stillness of night, we realize what truly remains isn't noisy chatter, but one heartfelt sentence, one silent presence, one gentle ending. Words can be a sharp knife, or they can be a warm lamp. May you, for the rest of your life, speak a little less, listen a little more, and keep your heart softer. That way, more people will stay by your side, more peace will come into your heart, and more blessings will enter your life. This is HL Whispers. If you enjoy this kind of sharing, remember to give it a like and subscribe. May my voice keep you company through the night, and may you greet each morning with lightness and joy.